Hello everyone, Coach KW here, back for another video. I'm in another undisclosed location, this time on family vacation, but wanted to get another video out, trying to get one out a week, at least through the summer and maybe into the fall. That would be fantastic. Today is going to start a 3-video series of some technical drills. You've been asking for some drills to use with your teams, and so today I'm going to show one of those first 3 drills. And the beauty of all 3 of these drills is the setup is relatively simple and the basic drill is relatively simple and useful, but I'll be able to show you hopefully that you can take this basic setup and expand upon it and start to use it in more complicated and interesting ways, building upon the base skill that the original drill works on. So it gives you a framework to make it easy to teach, easy for your players to learn, and then once they learn that basic setup, just adding on the additional movements and other things that we're going to do with it should be a simple and quick process for you, so that it's familiar to your players, so you can get right into the practice that much quicker as you expand it. So I'm hoping that you'll reward my dedication to record this video on vacation by hitting the subscribe button. It really helps the channel out a lot. About 20% of you are subscribed. That means 80% of you are not. I'd love to see that number flipped. People seem to be enjoying and getting value out of the video. You could really help me by hitting that subscribe button. It unlocks new features in YouTube for me that lets me do some different things. So I'd really appreciate it. All right, so we're going to cut to the diagrams that I made on an animated platform using my iPad. We'll pull those videos up. I have a little bit of actual footage as well from our futsal season, made some recordings of some of these drills. So you'll be able to see some of the kids trying to do it as well. And we'll get right into it. All right, so. Okay, so here it is diagrammed out from my iPad app. We just brought the movies over here. So here's the basic setup. It's really simple. It's a square of cones. Now the distance between them really varies on the skill of your players and the age. You can start as short as 3 or 4 yards for younger players. 5 to 10 is probably optimal, but you can go even bigger if you want. But I'd say usually about 8 to 10 yards is optimal between cones, and you have a nice square. You just need a ball, and you need a minimum of 5 players if you're going to do square. If you, for some reason, have 4 players, you can do this in a triangle, because you just need 1 more player than cones so that the drill is continuous. It doesn't stop. So the basic premise here is that there's going to be a player in each cone. Where the line starts, where there's more than 1 player, that's where the ball is going to start. And we're going to pass the ball around in the square. Seems simple enough. The trick is to get all the technical components correct. So in this example, we're starting by playing the ball counterclockwise, which means what we're going to ask the players to do is pass and receive on their left foot, because that's the foot that's furthest away from the cone. In most drills, cones represent defenders. And so you're going to see within this drill, we're going to ask our players to do some things to work on their passing and receiving while there's pressure near them. The pressure is going to come from the cones. So simply put, this drill starts with player down in the bottom left, passing up to the player straight in front of them. That player should check away or back away from the cone in the diagonal, like they would back away from a player who is marking them to gain a little space. The idea here is now as the ball comes to them, they should receive the ball on their back foot. What we mean when we say back foot, it's the foot furthest away from the pass, so that it has to roll across their body, has to roll across their front foot, the foot that's closest to the passer, and receive it with the foot that's furthest from the passer. Why? This usually opens the body up so that they're not looking straight back at the person who passed the ball, but they're able to open their hips and open their chest and eyes up to what's in front of them by receiving that ball on the outside foot. It also happens to be the foot that's furthest away from that defender, the cone. Once they receive it on the left foot, they can take a touch forward, and then they pass with their left foot to the next player, who does the same thing, and around we go. And after you make the pass, in this variation, you just simply follow your pass to the cone and you wait for the ball to get around. And because there are 5 players, it is continuous. You never have to stop unless the ball goes out of play. Simple drill, right? 4 cones, pass around in the square. What could be harder? It's getting the details right is what the struggle is on this every single time. So here we'll have some footage from my futsal season as we were teaching the players how to do this. So unfortunately, what you'll see half the players do is still in the mindset of futsal, using the sole roll to stop it, but they're starting to get the idea, because that's what we were coaching here. We're pretty much done with futsal season, but here, and then the next player, you see it's a little bit of futsal action right there. Watch when it comes around to the left side, you'll see 2 clean touches. See, outside foot, and pass. And that's what we're looking for in that drill, is to receive that ball with that outside foot, make that touch around the corner, and then push the ball and make that pass down the line while we're following the pass. You can see here in this exploded view, he takes that touch with the ball that's on the outside of his foot. It sets him up perfectly to round the corner and make that pass. Now you can see this player has not checked out, so now they've had to use the wrong foot, taking the touch inside, and then they blow the pass going down the line. And so we cover all bases. Here's a slow-mo of a 3rd grader taking an instep pass. You'll see they approach the ball, foot pointing where they want it to go, and then passing with the instep as they rotate their leg and hip through the follow-through. His foot, standing foot, rotates a little bit on the flat surface. And here is an MLS Next player, 9th grader playing. You can see ball is hit through the middle of the ball, follow through so the ball rolls, plant foot is pointing where that pass wants to go. So 2 good examples here of what that should look like on the passing piece as well, so that we're complete on both passing and receiving. All right, now that we got the basic pattern down, let's start expanding. So here in this example, you can see we've added a single cone in the middle. And what we're going to do here first is we're going to do the same passing sequence, but the movement of the players are going to change. So the player is going to play that pass straight up to player 4 in the top of the corner, but instead of following their pass directly, they're first going to run into the inner circle, inner cone, and then out to take player 4's space. So they're following their pass, but they're following it in a diagonal pattern. So see, you can see here, they check in, each player moves in here, and now what we're working on here, to work on the motion of moving into a new supporting angle after we've played a pass. Because usually you don't follow the pass. You want to move left or right. As I like to say, there's a 3-step rule involved. Move 3 steps one direction or the other to make yourself available for the next pass while changing your angle. And in that particular variation, the players are practicing that motion after they've made the pass. Now you can also adjust this to now have them make that diagonal go to the outside by adding cones outside the square. And eventually you can make it an option whether players go inside or outside, placing a cone in the middle of the square and the ones on the diagonals. But again, the idea is the same. You start by practicing the motion after you play that ball, developing those habits. Now we'll take that and take it one more step further, where now we're going to play a long pass, we're going to check in, and now we're going to receive a short pass back, play the short pass back again before continuing on for the pattern. So it goes long, short, short. So now not only are we practicing that motion, but now we're getting a return pass after we've made that supporting angle and returning that pass to the player, and then each player in turn follows that pattern around the circle. So again, now we've gone from just practicing the motion without the ball to now adding a passing pattern, so that now they're passing or receiving once they've made that supporting angle, very much like a game-like situation. Okay, in this next variation, we're basically doing the same passing pattern, but instead of taking that touch with the outside foot and bringing it outside the cone, we're now going to take that touch inside, as if, let's pretend that defender is rushing in a diagonal towards you and you want to use that player's momentum to go past you. You'd want to take that touch back inside towards the direction of the pass to let the defender run around you. So in this variation, we're practicing that exactly. As the ball plays out to one of those players, they're taking their touch inside, cutting in back towards the direction of the pass, and then making that pass across. That's where you can also teach your players to make that second move where first I make a move like they're taking the ball to the outside foot and then come inside and take that touch inside. So a double move, one away to pull the defender, and then one touch in to go around. One last variation here. Let's say that you have limited field space or you want to warm everybody up at once. You can load up this box with lots of players like we have in this example. And now we've got 9 or 10 players in the example and everybody's following their pass. And it just makes it a little less running, but you can get everybody in one space if you've got minimal space to work with. So again, think about how you can use these patterns and variations with the space and the numbers you have available to you. Now, when you're in your tactical sessions and you're working on playing out of the back or playing out of pressure, now you can show to them that, look, when that pass goes back, here is the same exact motions that we were doing in that drill, but now this is where and why we might do it on the field. As you can see here, we've played back and around and back through, perhaps because we had some pressure or a bad pass, but that is the exact motion, the exact touches that were just happening in that static practice in that square passing, now applied to what it looks like in the game model. So hopefully you can notice different location in the vacation house, different day, different shirt, but same concept here. You can take a simple practice, in this case, a 4-cone passing practice, and you can add all sorts of different variations. And I hope that seeing some of these examples will give you some ideas on how you might be able to do this. But one simple setup and then lots of variations to work on, lots of different movements, getting it more complex, more game-like, and then hopefully being able to see how using a drill like this can translate to actual activity that happens in the game will make your players be able to connect that technical, this is quote unquote boring. I wanted to scrimmage. Now you can connect it and say, look, this is why it's important. You're going to do this when it's time in a game. These are the shapes, these are the touches that you can use to be better in the game because you've practiced it in isolation. So I hope this has given you some ideas on this one. We've got 2 other drills that we're going to work on that I'll present, doing the same sort of thing, a basic setup, and a whole bunch of variations. This is the first one. I hope you enjoy it. Please like, subscribe, share your other coaches, and I'll see you real soon. Thanks.